Hi, my name is Steve Moore, and I'm a product engineer on the ArcGIS Maps for Adobe Creative Cloud team here at Esri. Today I'd like to talk about the compilation window and how you can use it to add and work with different types of data within the extension. If you've watched any of our previous videos, you know that the compilation window is an exact preview of what your downloaded map will look like. So because of this, the Mapboards window and the compilation window are tied together. So if I change the location or extent of my mapboard on the Mapboards window, I see those changes reflected immediately in the compilation window. Also, if I change the scale, I see that change as well. So for this demo, I'm going to shrink my mapboard down and just focus on Arizona. So in addition to this relationship between the two windows, there are also a number of unique tools specific to the compilation window that we're going to take a look at. The first one here is this magnification dropdown. So because this is an exact preview of my map, I can't change the scale or the extent on the compilation window, but I can zoom in on that preview. So that looks a little better. I can see some more detail. Next, I'd like to add some data. And if I click and hold on the Add Data button, I get a few options for that. I can add layers, web maps, or shapefiles. To start with, I'm going to add a web map. And if I click the location dropdown, I have a couple more options. One is my organization. This is the ArcGIS Online organization that I'm currently signed into. In order to access web maps for my organization, there is a specific tagging schema that's required, and how to set that up is covered in another video. So I'll select the Maps for Creative Cloud location. This is an ArcGIS Online organization that's maintained by the Maps for Creative Cloud team here at Esri and contains a number of sample web maps and layers. So I'm going to go ahead and select the Natural Earth web map. And an important note, when you add a web map to the compilation window, it will overwrite any content that's already been added to the compilation window. Okay, so that looks good. I can see all my data. Next, I'd like to add a feature layer. And with this option, I have a couple more categories to choose from. One is ArcGIS Online, so I can search all of ArcGIS Online for the content that I'm looking for. And I also have the Living Atlas of the World. The Living Atlas is a curated set of content that's maintained by Esri, and it's sourced from both Esri and non-Esri sources on ArcGIS Online. So I'm actually going to expand Living Atlas and select the Demographics and Lifestyle category. I'm interested in finding some medical data, so I'll go ahead and search for that. And I think I'll select this 2016 USA Medical Insurance Coverage layer. And I'll add that. Okay, so that data has been added and it looks good, but there are a couple things I'd like to do with it. First, I don't really need the state boundaries layer because I already have that data in the Natural Earth web map. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it by clicking on this trash can icon. And I'd also like to apply a transparency to my county data so that I can see through it. So I'll click on the style editing icon next to the layer name. And I'm going to select the options for the renderer that I'm currently using and just apply a 25% transparency. So that looks a lot better. I can see through to my Natural Earth web map. Lastly, I'd like to add a shapefile that I have saved locally on disk. And in this case, it's point locations of all the hospitals in Arizona. So you can see it's using a default single symbol renderer, and I'd like to change that to something a little more useful. So I'll click on the style editing icon for the hospitals layer, and I can actually select a field to symbolize off of. In this case, I'm going to use the county name that each hospital resides in. And it defaults to a unique values renderer, applies a color ramp, and in this case, I'm just going to keep the defaults. The last thing I'd like to do is change the name of my hospitals layer to be a little more informative. I can do that by double-clicking on the name and just typing it over it. Okay, so at this point, I'd be ready to download my map and start working with it natively within Illustrator. So just to kind of recap, in this video we talked about the relationship between the Mapboards window and the compilation window, and then the different types of data that you can add to the compilation window and how you can work with them. Thanks for watching, and be sure to watch our other videos that explain the other ways you can use the ArcGIS maps for Adobe Creative Cloud extension. Thanks.